Tonight we're going to be talking about freedom of flow. What is that about? So stick around and you will find out. So welcome to everyone. Let's start this evening as we always do by centering ourselves into the present moment. And we do that by just withdrawing our mind from the stories of the day, the stories of our lives, withdrawing our mind from all of the times and just becoming centered in the here and now, in the present moment, which is the only time we're actually alive. And we tend as humans to make what isn't more important to us than what is. And what isn't is every other time, and what is this present moment here and now. So you might like to, for the opening centering meditation, you might like to close your eyes. You don't have to. Open eye meditation is very, very powerful. As we say, we always have a candle here with us, and it's very nice to, if you want to do an open eye meditation, just focus on the flickering candle. It's a great technique for stilling the mind, because the flame is a plasma. It's not a somethingness as much as maybe the candle is. It's more an energy of life and ever changing in each moment. So by focusing on the flame of the candle, we actually do find that we bring ourselves into the center, into the present moment. So gently, if you like, you can settle back and close your eyes if you wish, and let's use the breath, which is something else that's very powerful at bringing our consciousness into alignment with life, because the breath again is not something, it's not an object. It's almost like a bridge between the world of form and the formless. So closing your eyes, take a very deep breath in, and a long releasing breath out. And when we breathe in, just see that you're breathing from your low diaphragm, so you're pushing your tummy out as you breathe in. You're not doing the stress breathing, which is up in the shoulders. You're breathing from the tummy. So take another very deep breath in to the tummy. And release, and just drop those shoulders, soften the neck muscles as you breathe out. Take another deep breath in. You can imagine the air going right down to the toes this time, and up to the top of the head. And then let it all go. Just sigh it out. Let it go, let it go. Now let's hand over the breath, the breathing, to the intelligence within the body called life. This intelligence that's right now beating your heart. It may be at the same time digesting food, but is most certainly transporting oxygen through the arteries and capillaries down to the veins, all through the body, nourishing and bathing each cell and taking away all that no longer serves the body, back to the organs of excretion and breathing out. This is what life is doing every single moment within our body. It's breathing us, transporting the oxygen and cleansing the body, repairing that which needs repairing. It's a powerful energy. It has a supreme intelligence, knowing what is going on in every single cell in the body, providing the mitochondria with exactly what they need for their function, the organelles, the brain cells, and the collection of cells known as organs. They're all being orchestrated by this incredible intelligence we call life. We don't have to worry about those bodily functions. They're taken care of us by this intelligence. So let us just surrender. Lean back in our chairs or bed or floor or wherever you are sitting or lying, And just surrender completely in this moment to this energy called life. Just allowing and accepting this moment exactly as it is. At the same time, feeling a sense of gratitude just for this moment here and now. Gratitude is such a powerful way of opening the heart. Gratitude is a powerful way of bringing the body back into homeostasis. Gratitude is a powerful way of liberating us from the judgmental mind. And they say gratitude is the only prayer that the divine ever hears. All else is illusion. You might like to take another deep breath and surrender the breath. Just become aware of who or what is aware of the breath. Who or what is aware of the sounds that you can hear right now? Who or what is aware of the chair or floor or bed or couch, whatever you're sitting or lying on right now in this moment? Who or what is aware of any thoughts that are drifting through your mind at this time? Who or what is aware as something transcendental, transcends the physical? It's pure awareness, unconditioned consciousness in its truest form, truest essence, just pure awareness. And it's a place of peace, of acceptance and appreciation. And this energy that we radiate from this centeredness of presence is the change we want to see in the world. Take another very deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Let's see how you feel in this moment. Feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more peaceful. Thank you for joining us tonight, all those who joined us there. And if you weren't with us in the beginning, we just say if you can just type up in the comments box who you are and where you're watching from. So we've got people from Portugal, people from Germany, people from Port Elizabeth.
Misha and Emma from Germany.
Yeah.
And PE. And Paul is from Portugal. Welcome everyone.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
And from live.
Yes, we have our live audience. Yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking about freedom of flow. So we're going to be looking at the word freedom and the word flow. So what's happening astrologically?
Well, we still have the sun in Cancer, which is a water sign. And this week it's coming up to a connection with Pluto, which we've spoken a lot about. So when that happens, that starts a whole new cycle. So it's this transformation cycle continuing. And this morning we had this lovely water ceremony outside at Anne's beautiful eco pool, and it was so beautiful because there's a whole lot of dragonflies coming to life there, and the dragonflies are really beautiful symbol of transformation. So it's a very transformative time where people are, because the dragonfly actually starts to be born underneath the water, and it sort of climbs up, and it eventually comes out of its shell, its casting, and is able to fly free. So it's transformation and freedom, really.
Yeah.
And I think that was very apparent today with all the dragonflies.
And on the end of the stalks, you could see the old casting sitting there.
Yeah.
So that's very symbolic of what many people are going through at the moment, leaving our old form, the old outer coating behind us, because it doesn't serve us anymore. In fact, it entraps us in an old form that is no longer fully functional. So it's to let go of that and to allow life to open our wings, to allow us to fly.
Yeah, so just in terms of timing, and in terms of this week, with it actually coming into alignment with Pluto, Pluto is the planet of transformation, and is now well and proper moved into Aquarius, which is the sign of freedom. So it really is about liberating ourselves from those old patterns. So if you can imagine that you're surrounded by this sort of little cage, and that all you need to do is take yourself out of it. It's not really a cage. So we are learning about our own freedom, and when we're in resistance, we're actually imprisoned.
Yeah.
So I just feel that this is a time where we're actually dropping those shells, the hard shells of kind of rigidity, and actually flowing with the energy of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And interestingly, we're recording this on the 19th of January, and on the 20th, America has quite a big event in that Trump gets inaugurated. And many people are obviously celebrating that. Some people are mourning it. But I believe this transformation process that we're going through is in alignment with what the Hopi Indians spoke about many, many years ago in their prophecy, and that we have to let go of the need for leaders to guide us. We have to become the leaders. We have to be the ones that we're waiting for. And so, yes, it's, some may see it very positive that we've got a change of government in the US, but do not depend on outside change to make you feel better. This time of transformation that we're going through, the same as the what do you call that thing that swims underwater that becomes the
nymph?
Is it a nymph?
It's a
Okay,
nymph.
the nymph of the dragonfly plays in a certain reality, and I'm sure there are leaders in that. Maybe I'm not too sure in that underwater world. And then eventually it's time to leave that world, and they climb up onto that stalk, and they have to shed their old form and fly into a whole new reality of experience. And that is our task at the moment, is to let go of those old structures, those old forms that no longer serve us. Let go of the need for those political leaders to guide us, and shed the old form, the old ideas of who and what we are, and allow the new essence of life to be born within you, so we can spread our wings and live in a very different reality to the old reality. And part of this process, a major part, is the letting go, the surrendering, the allowing.
Yeah, and the letting go of the need also to be saved by anything or anyone. Is that we are the change that we want to see in the world. There's no one coming to save us. There's no human that's going to come and actually sort everything out. It's actually about finding our power that we have inside us, our potential that we have, liberating ourselves from the idea that we're actually feeble little beings, humans. And that we're actually very powerful because we're connected to all that is. And it's that lack of separation. It's the connection that we have to the water, to the fire, to the earth, to the air, to the animals, that we are not separate from any of that. And I just see that with this big move from Pluto into Aquarius, it's actually about us realizing that we are connected to all of life, that we are not separate from it. And it's going to become more and more apparent. And as the world starts to kind of almost divide us, it's to actually find that unity within ourselves and within our communities as well.
Yeah. That sense of division has been perpetrated, I think, upon the human race for many, many thousands of years. And the underlying energy in separation is always fear. It's always fear of the other. And nature doesn't work like that. Nature works in a state of interconnection. You know, we've been brought up with the belief of Darwinian sort of theory of survival of the fittest. And that is so not true. It's cooperation that allows nature to thrive. And cooperation is the recognition that what I do to another, I do to myself. And what is good for another is also good for me, ultimately, in the bigger sense, bigger scheme of things. And it's a shift away from an individualized sort of egoic perception of reality, where I just worry about me and mine and my, and we start to see a world very differently, a world of connection, a world of community. And, talking of community, that's what we've set up where we are now in the garden route in South Africa. We've set up a little community here. And, every community has its challenges, but the overall thing is cooperation, connection. And it's so wonderful to experience that in a day-to-day basis. And whether you're able to make that transformation or transition from sort of like an urban dwelling to a rural dwelling at the moment in your life doesn't really matter. You can find your connection, your community, wherever you are. Start opening and seeing the true essence of life in everyone that you meet. That is community, that's connection. And drop the idea of separation and protection, the need for protection, which has very much been part of the fear paradigm that we have been hypnotized into believing for a long, long time now. And that's the transformation from the old into the new. And it's very necessary at this time, because the old is going to become more and more challenging to live in, and the new is going to become more and more welcoming to step into that world, the world of flow, the world of the miraculous, where doors just open rather than bumping your head against solid walls all the time.
Yeah, because the old way is very much about, I think most of us have been brought up by, if you want something, you have to push and strive and struggle and suffer, and you've got to really push against everything, because that's the way you succeed in the world. You've got to push and strive, and it's exhausting, and it actually doesn't work, because you're not in control of everything. So when we start to actually really connect with the flow of life, and we start to realize that we are part of it and that there are no mistakes, then we can actually accept, and we can allow people to be different, we can allow people to be difficult, we can allow situations to arise that might not have been to our kind of ego's wish, because there's an acceptance that there's a greater design, there's a greater power, there's a greater plan. And so the flow state, getting into the flow state, is actually it's a little bit surrendered. So you still show up and you do what you need to do, but you don't do it in that same stressful, fearful, striving kind of way. It's more of a flow. It's allowing things to actually flow into place rather than forcing them or trying to force them. In fact, the word trying is actually part of that striving, isn't it? I'm really trying to do this. It's kind of a resistant state. I'm not actually getting it right, but I'm trying. So when you're trying to do something, you're not doing it. You're resisting it. You're in a state of concern and anxiety. So it's to actually allow ourselves to go into this more acceptance allowing state. We've got a little saying, it's actually John's little mantra, that whenever anything gets sort of unknown and a little bit sort of scary, or what's going to happen here, or when people sort of say, what are you doing here and what are you doing there, and the saying is, it's wobbling into place.
Yeah, allow our life to wobble into place.
We've been
we've been so programmed to believe it's all about strategy and the Darwinian fight, sort of have to get my needs met by trampling over everyone else. But when you step back into the flow state, you start to allow life to wobble things into place. It is a lovely saying, and it's true, absolutely true. Because when you take your hands on the steering wheel just a little bit and you allow greater intelligence into your life, things do work out way better than you could have done by forcing it, by manipulating it. And it's to trust this intelligence that's greater than our limited egoic mind, to actually lead us in the direction we want to go. Yes, set the intention, have an open heart, start to walk in the direction of love rather than fear. And having done all of that, take your hands off the steering wheel and allow life to guide us. So the flow state, if we look at water, if we look at a river doesn't fight the rocks. It actually flows around them. But ultimately it transforms those rocks from jagged things into smooth rounded pebbles, for example. So in its act of flowing, it actually is transforming the world, the environment that it lives in as well. And life doesn't try and force its way. It was always in a state of cooperation with us. And as provided we are able to step out of our egoic mind and trying to create that which the ego wants, and we allow life to create through us, then we will start to be in a cooperative relationship with life. And that's when things work out way, way better than it used to when we thought we were in control of life. It's way better.
Yeah, and it's easy to be in flow state when everything's going flowingly and swimmingly and wonderfully. But when things aren't going the way that we want them to go, that's when it actually does sort of help to see the grand design of your life and to see how things have very often happened that you could not have planned. I mean, the fact that you're sitting where you're sitting, doing what you're doing in your life, if you go back into your life, you'll see that if one thing had changed, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting. You wouldn't be surrounded by the people that you're surrounded by. And so, I see it often in doing charts for people, that there are certain things that are probably going to happen. And there's certain times where you're going to go through ups and downs. It's just the way, it's the cycle of life. And so that's one of the things that we actually work with on our Journey to Freedom course. We have an online course. It's a 13-week journey. And one of the weeks is that we do a timeline week, where you actually look back on your life and you look at those points of sometimes struggle, and sometimes sort of the ups and downs of life.
And the mind would judge that bad,
and
wrong.
would look at the downs as this should never have happened, and the ups as, oh, that was a good time. But when you actually look back on the tapestry and you see those interconnecting places that life was showing you, and how they've actually led you to where you are now, it really helps you to be more in acceptance of life. And that's where you're in the flow of it.
Yeah.
Because you're not resisting it.
Yeah.
Because all suffering comes from resistance. All of it. Something happens, it shouldn't be happening. I'm not well, I should be well. I'm getting older, I shouldn't be getting older. This person shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be doing this. It's all resistance. That's the suffering. Just to recognize that.
Yeah, and that's the opposite of flow.
Yeah.
Because the river doesn't suffer when there's an obstacle in its path. It either calms down and waits, or finds a way around it. Is guided around that object. It doesn't even find a way. It actually is guided to find itself being in that flow state around that obstacle. And as I say, if it can't, it just sits and waits. It forms a little lake, and it enjoys the moment of experiencing itself as a lake or a dam. And then when the moment opens, it continues its onward flow. And as we start to align our lives, our awareness with that flow, so suffering becomes something of the past. It's not something that we experience anymore, because now we are aligned with the intention of this moment, with presence in this moment. And life becomes far more enjoyable when we give up the need to resist life. I say if you want to pick a fight with someone smaller than yourself. But life is infinitely bigger than us. So why fight life? Allow life to guide you. Allow life to flow. The truth is that when we allow life, all our needs are met. Not necessarily our wants or our desires, but our needs are always being met. The old world was a way of trying to protect ourselves against the unknown future. And that is fear-based. But the new way of flow is to open yourself to the abundance of life just in this moment. What is life giving me right here, right now? Are my needs met right here? Yes, they are. Are my needs, do I have security that my needs are going to be met tomorrow or in 10 years' time? The answer is absolutely no. And I don't need to. I don't need to have that security. And when you give up that need for future security, you find life in this moment becomes far more enjoyable. And that's true abundance, is to recognize the depth of life and the fullness of life just in this moment. Not how much you've got in the bank or when your insurance policies are going to pay out or anything like that. That's not abundance at all. That's fear. So this flow state is very necessary for the transformation of consciousness from the old world into the new earth. The old world of separation, from division, from fear, to the new world of connection and cooperation and community and overall love.
Yeah, and it just picking up on what you said there about abundance, the abundance that so many of us look for. I want abundance. A lot of people will put that as an intention or as a goal for the year. I want abundance. And then, but if we're in a hustling kind of that striving, hustling energy, that's not the energy of abundance. Because what we're putting out there as a vibration, because we are vibrationary beings, that's another thing that's going to come more and more into focus over the next few years. Yeah. Is just the potency of that. And if you're listening to the right stuff, you'll notice that it's being talked about more and more and more about the vibration. I was watching something today about from Zach Bush on the cells in our body and how they work and how the light moves across with the water. It's fascinating, and so beautiful science is coming to support this as well now. So it's the knowledge that if we're in a striving state, we're not in an abundant state. We're in the opposite. We're in a state of scarcity. So when we're worrying and we're striving and we're panicking and we're anxious, we're actually literally stepping out of abundance in terms of that vibration. And it's just the knowingness, or it's the acknowledgement at any one moment that I've just stepped out of alignment. And it's not to beat yourself up or to judge it. It's just I see it. I've gone into judgment, or I've gone into worry, I've gone into anxiety, I've gone into scarcity. And then to gently bring yourself back. It's like guiding a child. You just bring yourself back over and over and over again, because those old patterns they're old. They've been working for many, many years for many of us.
Habitual and strong.
They're habitual. And they eventually take over, so we don't realize that we're even going into that rut, into that same old cycle.
But you can see it playing out in your life. If you are stressed in your life, there's definitely some resistance going on. And when you are in a state of allowing and appreciating and accepting, that stress dissipates and disappears. So that's a good barometer, is how much stress are you experiencing in life. And just going back to what you were saying about abundance. Abundance is not something in time. It's not something in the future. Abundance is only ever accessible to us in the present moment, the perception of abundance. Because abundance is an experience, is it not? It's not how many figures are in your bank account. It's how you are experiencing this moment. And one of in fact, the major portal to open us up to flow is presence. And as we start to withdraw our focus from time past and time future, and we start to live our lives more and more in alignment with the flow of life in the present moment, so we are able to start to experience the real abundance of life. because it's not about the story of life, it's about the depth of life. How much depth are you experiencing of your life right here, right now? Are you still enough and quiet enough to fully appreciate this moment, the richness of this moment? If you're with someone and you're talking to someone, just notice the mind. It's always about the next moment. It's always about the future. But when you withdraw your mind from that and you come to this, the depth of this conversation now, the depth of this interaction, and you do it through stillness within you, you do it through the silence, you find there's something that changes within you. There's something that opens within you. And you truly start to marvel at the beauty of this particular moment that you're experiencing now. And that is the vibration and the frequency of abundance. It's the abundance of life. And life and love are two different words, but they actually point us to exactly the same place. Life is love, and love is life. There was a teacher who spoke about that 2,000 years ago, I am the life. And that is love. And it's who we are. We are that. And so if you would like to experience abundance in your life, start living the depth of this moment. The depth of this moment will align you completely with the flow of life. And to live your life in alignment with the flow of life is far more enjoyable than trying to swim upstream, trying to paddle your canoe in the opposite direction to the direction that life is taking you in. It's very stressful, very tiring as well. To turn your canoe around and go with the flow, I think, is the most sensible thing in the world. Have your intention. Know where you would like to go, which is generally a feeling. I want to feel something, and that's beautiful, but appreciate the present moment more than any destination. It's all about life, and life is only ever now.
Yeah, and feel, let your body be a guide as well. Your body will tell you. So if your body is aching or paining or diseased, or if you're feeling that, just really start to connect and speak to your body, for example. So if you're in resistance, your body will feel that you're in resistance. Your body will be tense. Your jaw will be clenched. Your arms will be tight. Your neck will be in a tight state. It's just to be aware of it, that the body speaks as well, and that the slower we go, the more we slow down, we're actually able to listen and listen to life. Life's always talking to us. It's talking to us all the time, whether it's through nature. Very often it's through nature for me. If you take the time to listen and to look, life will be speaking to you and giving you messages and guidance. It's very.
That reminds me of
still enough to listen.
That reminds me of that wonderful book by Hermann Hesse, Siddhartha, written I think 1934. And in there, he's a seeker, and he goes out through many different paths, always looking. At the end of his life, he's just a ferryman, ferrying people across a little river. And he learns more by listening to that river than all of the gurus and the teachers that he had come across in his life journey. He learned more from that river just by listening to the river. It's a beautiful book. If you've never read it, highly recommend it. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. It's also available on audiobooks. And it's for us to slow down and listen to nature, to listen to this moment. But you can't truly listen if you're not in presence. So flow is another way of aligning ourselves to the stillness of the present moment. In the stillness of the present moment, we're in flow with life. We are aligned with life when we're quiet and still inside. And flow is, to me, the only sane way to navigate the rapidly changing world that we live in, and also to navigate the instability and the crumbling of the old world. To come back into the stillness of this present moment. And even in the crumbling, even in the death and dying of the old, there is beauty. There is something to really be grateful for. In the same way that the caterpillar has to move through the stage of the chrysalis, and then the chrysalis itself has to crumble for the butterfly to emerge. In the same way that what do you call that?
Nymph.
The nymph has to surrender to releasing its old form so that the dragonfly can be released. Many of us right now have to go through that process of surrendering to the uncertainty and the crumbling of the old lives that we used to depend upon for our sense of self and sense of security. It's scary for the mind, yes, terrifying for the ego, but it's actually liberating for the soul. And tonight's satsang we have freedom of flow, and freedom is really there was a song by Chris Christopherson, freedom is having nothing left to lose. So it's actually releasing all the old packages and bundles and suitcases that we used to carry around with us, and allow this moment to be exactly as it is, and in that you find the freedom. The river is free, it's flowing in this moment. All we have to do is align our intention and our awareness with the freedom of the river as it flows in this moment. And that's true freedom. Freedom is not having a bank account with a lot of money that you can go certain places that other people can't. That's not freedom. I know many people who have a lot of money who are anything other than free. They're not free. They're completely bound to making more money to meet their insecurities. Freedom comes really from surrendering to life in this moment, and to be appreciative, fully appreciative of just this moment, here and now. And it's easier to do that when you're connecting, or when you're situated in nature, than when you're in something that man has created, because nature is alive. You know, if you go into a forest, everything is in a state of decay and rebirth. When you go into a man-made structure, we try and hold on to those concrete walls for security, but we know that they're decaying, we know that they're not going to last, and there's no innate intelligence in that wall to regenerate itself. When you go into a forest, there is an innate intelligence in the forest itself that's always in a process of regeneration. So if you can, to nourish your soul and to align with the flow state, spend more time in nature. That's the second key. First key, be present. The second key is to connect with the abundance and stillness and joy of being in a natural surrounding.
And I think another key is just, we often mention the breath. So you can be in a very stressed state, you can be surrounded by struggle and turmoil, and the breath will actually bring you into presence. It will bring you into a flow state. So it's always accessible as well. You're never without it. So just if you feel yourself going into that state, whatever it is, and you feel yourself stepping out of alignment, it's to bring yourself back to the breath and breathe out for longer than the in-breath. It's incredibly powerful in bringing you in, and it literally relaxes the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a very, very simple thing to do, and we often forget. So when we are upset, or we are striving, or we're anxious, we'll breathe like that, and we're actually taking in too much breath, and we're not actually releasing it. So it's a little thing. So just pause in the middle of whatever you're doing and breathe for a few moments. 3 or 4 breaths. That'll do it. That'll actually bring you back into flow. And then you're actually in an empowered state. You're not in that anxious state.
Yeah. And one of the things that takes us into anxiety and stress more than anything else, believe it or not, it's not the mother-in-law, it's not the bank account, not even the government, it's our mind. And the freedom comes, the true freedom is the liberation from the judgmental mind. That's true liberation. And how we know we're free from that is when there's a greater sense of gratitude in each moment, because you can't expect the mind to be grateful for too much, because it's always in a state of attachment to a world of change, saying it shouldn't change, and life has changed. But when we're in a state of gratitude, that is truly the portal into liberation from the mind. When you notice beauty, when you notice the depth and the beauty in this moment, then you are pretty free of mind in that moment, because you can't see beauty through the mind. The mind doesn't know much about beauty, but your heart does. And so it's to liberate ourselves from the mind. And what we suggested earlier about spending more time in presence, spending more time in nature, and even focusing on the breath, as Michelle was saying, that is liberating ourselves from the mind.
Yeah, and I would also just add to that, that if you have a body of water near you, it could be a pond, it could be a lake, it could be a pool of any kind, it could be the sea. If you have something accessible to you, spend more time there. Just sit and connect with the water. Water has an unbelievable intelligence and a memory. There's huge research going on right now about water, and it's unbelievable memory potential. It's an intelligent life force. And so when we connect with water, we are connecting with life itself. So just sit next to a little body of water, put your feet in the water. If you haven't got a body of water, bring water into your daily life more in a sacred way. You know, put a little bowl of water with some plants or some flowers or something in your environment, but connect with water as an energy, because it's an energy, and it's the nurturing element. So I would say that for flow state, definitely as well. Run your hands through water. When you're using water to wash dishes or to wash yourself or to shower, really bring the water in and acknowledge what this incredible element is giving. Because it's life. We would die very quickly without water.
Well, our body is mostly water,
yeah.
And that water is intelligent.
Yeah.
And we spoke earlier about that thing from Zach Bush, and was talking about how sensitive water is to vibration, to frequency, to consciousness, to intention, and it all informing our DNA through water, every moment of every day.
Every thought we think.
Yeah.
Everything we say. That's sending vibrations into the water in our bodies. So it is literally making us who we are and creating our lives.
Yeah.
So, when they say the power of what you're speaking and what you're thinking, it's true. It's a vibration.
Yeah, it is. And they were just pointing out there that, the water that we get in our cities basically has been forced down through pumps and through hydraulic systems and many right-hand angle turns. And that really does disturb the intelligence in water. And water loves vortexes. It loves the river to be flowing through rocks and around reeds and things like that. And it actually changes the whole structure of water. And Zach Bush explains from a scientific point of view what it does to the water molecules. Truly amazing. So in tonight's satsang, we're talking about flow. So it's the same with life. The mind does, it tries to force things, and what forcing does is create those right angle turns in our life, where when we allow things to wobble into place, we are more in flow, going around obstacles instead of trying to cut through those obstacles. And one of the last things I'd like to share tonight is just the idea that life, these circumstances and situations we find ourselves in, shouldn't be difficult, that everything should be easy. And that thought alone is enough to create tremendous blockage to the flow of life. Because the very purpose, I believe, of this human incarnation is to grow and to strengthen and to become more than we were when we arrived on this planet. And in the same way that those who go to gym, you go to gym, and imagine if the gym equipment were easy, if there was no resistance in that gym equipment, there would be no point to going to gym. And it's the same situation with life. It's through those difficulties that we grow. We build up that inner spiritual muscle by the difficulties in life. So if you are experiencing difficulties in life right now, let go of the idea that they're wrong. They're not wrong at all. They're actually right. They're exactly what you need right now. How do I know that? Well, it is what is in your life right now. Life is giving you this right here, right now, not to punish you in any way, but to strengthen you, to give you that depth of spiritual resilience or access to building that spiritual muscle which will give you that resilience. So the idea that life is wrong is an idea that needs to be surrendered, needs to be given up. It doesn't serve us. You treat every situation as an opportunity to grow and to heal and to become more than you were before that situation. Every hardship you've ever had, as Michelle said earlier, has led you to this particular moment that you're experiencing right here, right now. So give up the idea that life should be anything other than what it is. Give up the idea that the difficulties are wrong and see them all as opportunities for transformation. That'll definitely ease the flow in your own life.
And if you'd like to visit these themes in much more depth, you are welcome to join us on our next Journey to Freedom, which starts on the 6th of February.
Yeah, 6th of February. So this is the start of a 13-week journey with us, Journey to Freedom. And the first week we have a free module. So you can all join absolutely free of charge. And that's setting a new vision, right?
Yeah, Vision 2025.
Vision 2025. So we spend 7 days, the first 7 days. We meet up twice in the first week, at the beginning and the end of the week. And then we give you a series of modules to work through during the week. And it's really a case of creating greater levels of awareness. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. It's not what you don't know that's the problem. It's what you don't know that you don't know that you don't know. That's the real problem. It's that ignorance that creates the blockages with us. And awareness is the greatest agent for change. So in these modules, we're shining the light of awareness into those dark corners that maybe we've ignored for a while. And the first week is starting on the 6th of February, and you can just sign up from our website, which is journeysofAwakening.com. Join us for that week, and then if you want, you can continue the full 13 weeks or the next 12 weeks with us. I know that people who have done it say it's life-changing. And yeah, you've got us for three months, really, 3 months. Yeah.
And this is our 16th one.
Yeah, 16th one.
And I think it's probably the most valid now.
Yeah.
I mean, we started it way back in 2020. It's called Journey to Freedom. And here we have Pluto doing its thing and bringing in, ushering in the age of Aquarius in a way, and freedom.
Yeah.
So it's very apt for our times.
Yeah. And if you have done the course with us before, do it again, because we always put in new material, and the you that's visiting this course now is not the you that possibly did it before. We change and we grow and we're able to see so much more. So do join us, because there is brand new material in there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to draw a card.
To draw a card, yes. Do you want to draw
We have a whole pack of cards here. We have a whole pack of these affirmation cards, and we use them all to redirect the mind, to help the mind find a new pathway to go down, because we're all telling ourselves affirmations every day, things like I can't do this, or the world is difficult, or whatever, and just by changing our mind we change our reality. So we select one of these every week and choose a card. A blue one. Blue, well, that's to do with water. Blue is also to do with emotion. So that's in keeping with tonight's theme of flow, the flow of water.
Okay,
Yes,
so I'm going to just
that's
see you
beautiful.
out with
That's a lovely affirmation. We've got it here. We're not going to show you yet, but Michelle will tell you about that in the actual meditation that she's going to do.
Okay, so just get yourselves nice and comfy if you're not already. If you're sitting up straight, with your arms resting gently in your hands. If you're lying down, just make sure you're comfy and supported. And take a beautiful big deep breath in. And then a long slow releasing breath out, blowing all the air out of your lungs. Now take another deep breath in. And then a long, slow breath out. Now, just after you take the next breath in, I want you to really tense up your body. So breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, and really put sort of tension in your wrists, tension in your hands, tension in your neck, tension, tension. Hold it in, 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 hold it in. And then just release it, release it, release it, release it, release it, release it. And let all that tension slide off you. And just feel the difference between the holding and the releasing. And now as you sit there, just allow your body to slightly sway from side to side as you breathe, very gently. Feel the slight move in your shoulders maybe. Just allowing your life force to move through you and to soften your body so that you're not so rigid. And feel how that feels. And then just be aware of wherever you're holding tension or tightness or pain. And breathe into that area and allow the life force energy to just flow in there. As if you had this beautiful stream of crystal clear water moving through you and flowing into any places of tension, any places of tightness. Let this water that's flowing through you dissolve any blockages, any obstacles in your life. Anything in your body that might be ready to leave and maybe obstructing you or holding you back. Just allow this water to flow through and clear and cleanse. As this flow state happens, your energy body is awakening. The energy is moving through you more freely. Much like taking a stone out of a hose pipe. Remove the stone and the water flows freely through it. As we sit here in this flow state, just allow this energy to move through you. Now you can imagine yourself on a very, very calm, slow river. If you like, it can be a nighttime float. Imagine yourself lying on your back, arms out, legs out, floating. Allowing yourself to be very gently carried, very quietly, very gently. You're actively keeping yourself afloat. But you're allowing yourself to be guided and moved. You're an active participant in the flow of this river. You might see the twinkling stars above you, reflecting millions and millions of sparkles onto the water as you just allow yourself to float, completely surrendered to the here and now, softening your body as you do so. You're one with the water, you're one with the sky, the light, the earth underneath, one with the cosmos. There is no separation. Part of the whole, interconnected to everything. And just feel the peace and the presence of this moment. Our affirmation for the week, as you float in the flow, is thank you for the abundant love that I am. Thank you for the abundant love that I am. You already are love. There's nothing you need to prove or achieve to be love, to be connected to all that is. It's to be surrendered to. I'm just feeling the gratitude for this moment. Taking a deep breath in. And a long, beautiful breath out. And another deep breath in. And you might rub your hands together. Feel back into your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes gently.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And right now, I absolutely guarantee you're more aligned with life. You're in flow. Thank you for being with us tonight. We enjoy having you with us. And have a beautiful week further. Just putting into practice some of the principles that we've shared with you tonight is a good idea. If you've enjoyed what we've shared, please share it yourself. Press the like button if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. We look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Lots of love.
If you do want to join us for the journey or for the free week, you can access it on journeysofawakening.com. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. And then we'll take a photograph of that and put this affirmation up. It'll help you get into flow for the week ahead. We'll put this underneath this broadcast now. Thank you.
Much love.
Love you all. Thank you for being
you.
with us. Thank you.